Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. How are you today? Don't remember if I've done a reading for you before. I do so many I can't remember. So I like to explain real quick how this works. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. I try to describe the picture the best I can. There is always a reason for whatever they show or say. So if it doesn't make any sense now, just keep it in mind because you'll either see it later, remember it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later. This is not an exact science. We communicate the best way we can. So sometimes you got to stretch it outside the box a little bit. They never waste a message. There's always a reason. So just keep all that in mind. It's not perfect, but they always want. She was, even before I started, she was saying, tell her how pretty she is. Tell her I think she's gorgeous. She says, tell her again. Tell her how pretty she is. And she's stressing this very strongly. She says, lately you haven't felt pretty or as pretty as you should feel about yourself. That in her eyes, you're perfect in every single way. She wants you to feel that way about yourself. She says nobody else can actually validate that for you. That it's something you need to believe about yourself. And to hell with what you think somebody else thinks about you. You need to start believing that more about yourself. She says gorgeous isn't always about the physical looks. Gorgeous is your light. This is coming from JOYCE. Gorgeous is about the light you have inside of you, that you let it shine and people will see it and feel it. But she says you need to see and feel that yourself. When you look at yourself, you don't see that gorgeous light, that how gorgeous you are inside. She's really stressing this. And she said, oh, and I promise you 1,000%, she can hear you, she can see you. Talk to her all you want to. You just may not be able to always hear the responses back from her, but she will definitely hear you. She's talking about playing patty cake. Now, I asked them to at least validate a couple times who they are. I don't like the whole reading to be about validating. To me, that's a medium going, oh, look what I can do. I can validate every single thing. My work is about getting her message across to you. She's talking about playing patty cake. So I don't know if she used to play this with you a lot, or if you have kids and she used to play it with it, or maybe if you do have kids, because I don't look at anybody's Facebook ahead of time because it just messes up what little logical mind I have. I don't know if you recently played patty cake. She used to play patty cake with your kids or with you or something. Or know that whenever you hear somebody say patty cake, when you see somebody, could be in a movie, could be on Facebook, could be a picture of somebody when you're walking through Walmart, doesn't matter how it appears, that will be a sign from her. She says when you're feeling really sad and lonely, sit there and play patty cake with her. And she's not joking. Play patty cake with her. And at some point, okay, she says, and if you do it with your hands really relaxed, don't do it like real stiff. At some point, you will feel the pushback of her energy against your hands when you go like that. She loves you very, very much. She says that's an understatement. She's calling you, well, I'm not sure if she's talking about her or you. She's talking about the queen bee. Queen bee. So I don't know if she's saying she was the queen bee. Maybe you guys used to call her that. Or she's saying you are now. She's talking about brownies. So, and they don't always explain a lot of times. They just throw stuff out there. So she used to either make you brownies, that maybe that was your favorite, maybe that was her favorite. Maybe you just made some. Maybe you're heading to the store to buy some right now. It, however that fits. She said, she says, I know all. I know all now. And she's got a big smile on her face. But then I always did. She might have been a little, I don't want to say psychic. Maybe, I want to say a little more than a mother's or grandmother, whichever, into more than a mother's intuition. A little more like that kid in another house. It could be even in another town. And I know, just have the feeling something's wrong. I just know something's wrong. I just know they need me, or I know I need to call them, or I just know. It's like, see, I have a knowing. I can sit down next to somebody, and I don't have to be next to them, and I can almost hear their thoughts. I, when I look at their eyes, I know they're hurting, and I usually know why they're hurting. And I usually keep my mouth shut because they don't believe me because they think I'm crazy, which I am. But she had a little bit of that she knew, just knew. She she says, you can't fool me, or you couldn't fool me. Couldn't fool me. Even when people would tell her, and I think she's talking about family members. She says, well, not always, but mostly. When they would say, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. That she knew. Okay, now she's holding up a big bowl of red cherries. And she's taking this bowl and she's dumping it into something. So, once again, just like the brownies, either she like made a lot of cherry pies. I'm just saying cherry pie. She's not showing me cherry pie, but she's making something. She's dumping this in so she can stir it. Or you just did. Or even if your mom just did. It doesn't matter how that ties in there. So I don't know if she's validating that somebody just did this or she used to do this all the time. She's a smart lady. She says, they always say life is, excuse me, life is a box of chocolates. She says, no, life's like a bowl of cherries. When you put them in the bowl, some of them are bad, some of them are old, some of them are mushy, some of them are perfect, some of them aren't quite ripe yet, some of them are little, some of them are bigger. None of them are exactly alike, but they're all still in the bowl together, getting along. And they're going to be put in whatever this thing and make this great, very tasty, whatever. She's not showing me what she's making. So she's using the cherries in two different ways. That's pretty cool. She says hamburger helper. Eh. So, I don't know if you just made hamburger helper, or maybe she just didn't like it. She said it wasn't her cup of tea. I don't know if she's talking about a certain kind of hamburger helper or all hamburger helper. Okay, she's going back to loving yourself. So this is going to be a big theme. She says your biggest accomplishment should be to love yourself, not in an ego way. You know, you see people out there that they love themselves. They're like big, egotistical. That's not what she's talking about. She says you have to learn to love yourself when nobody else does, or when you think nobody else does. Because if you love yourself and Joe Blow sitting over there doesn't, it's not going to bother you because you won't give a shit because you know you're a good person. You know that you have lots of love in you to give. Okay, she's referring me to like, there's this guy, this place I go to all the time, and he just hates me. And I just stay away from him. I love me. I know what I am, but he calls me names. The other day he sat down at the table and he said, I hope you die. But I don't care. I don't care that he said that other than it was rude. I don't care that he doesn't like me because I know I'm not this bad person that should die. She's making a very big point of this. She says it's not about really what you do in life as far as accomplishing things in your life. It's more about how you do it. You can be, she says CEO. You could be a big CEO of a company and walk all over everybody under you and treat them like shit. You've accomplished something physically, but inside you've accomplished nothing. So she wants you to remember that analogy or whatever you want to call it. You don't have to have, she says, you don't have to have the richest job there is to be accomplished. She says that's where people get it wrong. You have to be a good person. And you are. And I love you very much. So worry less about the physical things you can grasp out there in the world, and worry more about how you're going to accomplish this, how you're going to accomplish your peace. And I will say, love is the highest vibration there is. When we go up there, we don't have this heavy physical body anymore. And the whole goal is to get to that love vibration, which is the highest vibration that there is up there. And that's what it's all about. And they want us to do that here so we will learn more and enjoy more here, if that makes sense. She's wanting me to preach, sorry. The more you learn here, the higher up you're going to be when you get there, and the less you have to heal up there. I guess that's not quite the way I wanted to put it, but go by the mirror, and every time you look at, us girls always look in the mirror or in the window when we walk down the street or whatever, and we always look and say, I love you. I love you. And do it until you believe it. Now she's talking about shoes. Shoes, ruby red slippers. I live in Kansas, so I'm from Wizard of Oz and Toto and the ruby red slippers where you click your heels. she's making the shoes look like that, only they're not in color, so I can't tell for sure that they're red, but that's what they look like. So I don't know if you just bought shoes like this because they look like slick. I'm going to say patent leather because that's what I had back in my day that were slick. They're not tennis shoes. Don't know if that means anything or if she's just referring to shoes and that's the kind she's showing me. She's not saying why she's showing them. But she is showing these slick shoes. They're shiny and she is clicking the heels of them. So like I said, I live in Kansas, so that's a big deal for us in tornadoes and the Wizard of Oz. Because Dorothy was from Kansas. She's talking about something you heard about. She's going like that. You heard about something. You heard about it and you didn't like it. You heard about something. But it's almost like you overheard. She's not, almost like you were listening, but maybe didn't mean to listen. Maybe you didn't listen on purpose. You overheard something somebody was saying and you didn't like it. It hurt your feelings. Don't worry about it. It's not important. I heard it. I know. You would be surprised at the people that they take out of your life for any number of reasons they leave because they heard things that you didn't hear. They know it's best for you. They know it's best that they move away from you. So don't be afraid of change. Don't ever be afraid of change. Okay, I'm in my other room. She's showing me a little bell. Little bell. It's about this big, so it's not like a big clanger. And she's jiggling it. So listen, of course, we're getting close to Christmas. You're going to hear all kinds of bells, but this is like a little schoolhouse bell. I have one similar, but it's in the other room. Just right to show you. Anyway, you'll hear this. You can be walking down the street. You can be watching a movie. And it's, of course, we're going to start seeing all the Christmas shows and all the bells. And she says it is kind of like when you hear the bell, an angel gets their wings, but not really. But she is referencing, what is it? It's a Wonderful Christmas. What's it called? It's a Wonderful Life. She is referencing the saying in that movie, but kind of offhandedly. It's not like that's exactly what the bell means. We're rambling, Joyce. But something about this bell is going to be another sign. It needs to be a certain bell. It won't be just every jingle you hear during Christmas. And it won't be just at Christmas. It'll be all the time. So anytime you get any of these signs from her, and oh, she says back to the brownies, you'll smell brownies too. That'll be another sign from her. You might just get a little whiff. You can be in your car. You can be in Walmart. You can be anywhere. It doesn't matter. And you get this little whiff of brownies. Sometimes I wake up, smell chocolate chip cookies, and I still don't know who is here. I never have figured out who it is trying to get my attention. And they never step forward. Well, they're not supposed to in my house. But anytime you get a sign, even if you doubt it, validate her, acknowledge her, tell her you love her, and ask her to bring you more. Give her permission. Tell her you want some signs. I've seen them sometimes stand off in a corner in people's houses and they go, well, we don't know if we should really step forward because I don't want to scare them and I don't want them to think their house is haunted because it's just grandma. And I run into that when I go cleanse houses too. They go, oh, there's somebody in my house. I go, no, it's your grandmother. She's just trying to let you know she's around. You're not always haunted just because there's a noise. I'm just going to assume that you probably don't know anything about protection bubbles or auras or energy that we have in our bodies that goes out. But she's showing me, and you've got a kind of a whitish bubble around a bubble around you. It's like you're inside of an egg. Let's put it that way. It's the way she has it shaped. And she's filling that egg with a lot of love. It's almost like she's got a protection bubble she's put around you without you even knowing it. And it's very light and it's very bright. Not bright, not blinding bright, but it's very peaceful. When you want this, call on her and ask her. I don't know, did I already say, promise you, 1,000% she can hear you, she can see you. Talk to her all you want to. So sometimes when you're in this bubble, I don't know if she has it around you all the time, because we can. It's all working with energy, and we are all energy. A rock is energy. It's just a slower moving form of energy. The sun's energy. We're energy. Everything's energy in some way, shape, or form. But you might, of course, I don't know how old you are either. You might all of a sudden feel like a warmth, almost like a hot flash. Get really, really warm all of a sudden. I had that like crazy the other day, but I knew who it was. And when you do, just acknowledge her. Let her know that you know that's her, bringing you some peace and love energy. Now she's singing Shoe Fly, Don't Bother Me, Shoe Fly, Don't Bother Me. What is that song? Shoe Fly, Don't Bother Me. Dun, 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 dun. You don't want me to sing. That would hurt your ears. I don't remember the words to it. That's an old song. So go Google that song. I haven't heard that forever. Or you've recently had a fly that won't leave you the hell alone. Or you're going to. Hopefully you're not swarmed with flies. Blech. She's saying, remember the brave. And she's referencing tomorrow, which is Veterans Day, November 11th. She's showing me a man in uniform. I can't see the uniform clear enough. It's not Navy. It's not Air Force. I'm going to say Army. Could be Marines, but I'm going to say Army. Don't hold that to me 100%. It's one of those two. It's a darker colored uniform. The hat, flat hat, not a Navy hat. I'm trying to get her to tell me who this is. It's somebody older. I don't think it's anybody this looks like an older military uniform. So I would guess it's either your grandfather or your father or somebody along that line. She's not saying why she's referencing this person. Again, she says, remember the brave tomorrow. And she wants you to actually salute this person. You don't have to do it in front of anybody else. Tomorrow morning when you get up, whoever this is, salute them and tell them thank you for being brave enough to love our country. Oh, she likes my shirt. We the people are pissed. It's hard to read the words. She likes the shirt after she referred to him. Because we are pissed. Okay, now she's talking about crumbs. Are there breadcrumbs on your counter? I'm not saying she's saying you're messy or anything. Like maybe you just made a sandwich and there's breadcrumbs on something about crumbs on the kitchen counter. Or some are going to appear. I don't know for sure why she's referring to this. Don't forget to tell yourself you love you. And I am always watching out. Next time you feel alone, she didn't say sad, she said alone. Next time you feel alone, hold your hand out. And just like the patty cake thing, don't do it like that. Do it softly, softly. Hold your hand out. Ask her to hold your hand. It could take you 10 times. Just relax, hold your hand out, and ask her to hold your hand. And you should feel a pressure, might feel a warmth. Sometimes when I walk by the river and do my woo-woo music walk, I'll ask a certain someone to hold my hand as I'm going. And it actually feels like he's holding my hand. So try that. It'll bring you a big sense of peace. And just remember, I love you. And you're perfect the way you are. Everybody makes mistakes. They're just little bumps in the road. Don't dwell on them. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. She's shown at some point in your life, they usually show me their path, your path. And there was a big whoop-de-doo out here. I call it the scenic route. I've got a whole bunch of those in my path. Oh, I took the scenic route. You learn things along that way. You'll learn things along that path. You're not going straight down your path. It's not all roses and butterflies. But just think of that as a learning curve. But she says, you're back. You're back. It doesn't mean you're not going to take another detour. And it's okay if you do. It's all part of life. It's part of learning. She's a very smart lady. Oh, she's showing kind of a big rock, and I don't know if she means right now or she says recent past, and you like stubbed your toe on it. You kind of got stuck there. She says, next time, just jump over that rock. No big deal. Don't take it too serious. You're perfect just the way you are, just the way you were created. And I love you. Oh, she came over here and she hugged me. She says, as one grandmother to another. You understand what I mean. I've raised some of my grandkids, and I'm raising one now that lives with me. I understand totally what she means. Grandmother's love never dies. With that, she says she's done. She's showing me walking through your house. She said she's done, but she's showing me that she walks through your house. She's walking through the living room right now. I want you to be happy. If you need help, ask me. And you'd be surprised what they can do from up there. They can put people in your path, and somebody might call you. Let's just say it's a job and that you want help with, and all of a sudden somebody might call you, or you might run into somebody in the grocery store, and they go, "Hey, I've got this opening over here. Hey, why don't you come work with me?" Totally works that way. But I do also always say, if Uncle Joe didn't have a pot to piss in, don't ask Uncle Joe for financial advice. So pick something she would be good at helping you with, even if it's just moral support. Because if they didn't understand it when they were here, made it work, they really don't know how to make it work down here when they're up there. We're not 100% perfect when we get up there. So I don't know her walking through the living room. I don't know if she was just showing that she does pop in, or if you might actually see. If you do, you'll they even do it to me. See them in your peripheral vision. And I include this up here because I can be looking down working on my computer and I can see somebody walk by, which you're not supposed to in my house. And then when you look up, there's nothing there. Or you think you see somebody walk down the hall and you turn your head, there's nothing there. Don't know why it works this way, but it does. So just know if you do see some kind of movement out of the corner of your eye, know that that's her and validate her. Go, "Hi, Grandma. What are you doing? Glad you popped in." And with that, she is leaving. So much love to you, my dear. Thank you for letting me being patient while I have my little mini vacation with all my family, or at least almost all of them. Anyway, Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones.